Hey everybody, welcome to another con support video. This one is on dividing mixed numbers with negatives. Let's go through it and see how you guys can do it properly and carefully. All right, so there's dividing mixed numbers with negatives. Let's go. Clear canvas. Let's start. So basically it's the same as with no negatives except that you resolve your negative first, right? So let's just start with the normal process. We have a negative 1 3/8. We're dividing by a negative 1 4/7. First thing to do is resolve your sign, right? What is a negative divided by a negative? It's a positive. So put a positive in a box, and then you can ignore your signs completely. Now we're going to change our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 1 times 8 plus 3, that's going to be 8 plus 3, which is 11. So that'll be 11/8. We're dividing that by 1 times 7 plus 4, that's 7 plus 4, which is 11. So that's 11/7. Okay? Now we're going to change our division into multiplication. Remember, the way you do that is you can use the KFC algorithm, or you can remember that dividing fractions is easy as pi. Just flip the second and multiply. So you're going to keep the one on the left the same. You're going to flip the one on the right to its reciprocal. So 11/7 becomes 7/11. You flip it top to bottom. And then you're going to change your division into its inverse operation, multiplication. So ultimately 11/8 divided by 11/7 is exactly the same value as 11/8 times 7/11. Now you're going to look to cancel anything that's the same, common factors from top and bottom. And I noticed a couple things here that are the same. So you got 11 on top here and 11 on bottom over here. So you can divide top and bottom by 11. 11 divided by 11 is 1, and 11 divided by 11 is 1. And then you're going to finish strong. Just multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom to get your answer. What's 1 times 7? 7. And what's 8 times 1? 8. So the correct answer here is 7/8. So your answer should be 7/8. Let's go over here and put it in. That would be 7/8. And there we go. Good work, us. The next question we're going to work on, we're going to clear this canvas, is -5/7 divided by -1 1/8. Okay? So remember, when you have -5 over +7, that's the same as -5/7. Now you can take it from the top, move it to the front, or from the bottom, move it to the front. That's fine. And so we can ultimately see this is going to be a negative divided by a negative, which is going to be a positive answer, right? So we know the answer is going to be positive, put a positive box, and we're done with the sign. Once we're done with the sign, now we're just going to treat it like normal. So we have 5/7 divided by 1 1/8. Now, what is 1 1/8 worth? 1 times 8 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so that's just 9/8. We're going to use the KFC algorithm to change this from division to multiplication now. So that means we're going to keep the one on the left the same, so 5/7 stays 5/7. We're going to flip the one on the right to its reciprocal, which means we're going to flip the 8 to the top and then 9 to the bottom, flip it top to bottom. And then you're going to change your division into multiplication, the inverse operation. So ultimately, what we can say is that 5/7 divided by 9/8 is exactly the same as 5/7 times 8/9. Now you're going to look for any common factors in top and bottom that you can cancel. 5 and 8 don't have any common factors with 7 and 9, so then you just multiply across the top and bottom, and you get 5 times 8 on top, and you get 7 times 9 on bottom, and that's going to be worth 40 on top and 63 on bottom. So 40/63 is your answer. So that's why we have the positive in the box. We know it's a positive answer. Can't lose our sign. It's 40/63. So let's go over here and put in 40/63, and now we're good. All right, let's do the next one. This one is same kind of thing as the last one. So let's just clear the space here and go through it one step at a time. First things first, we've got 5 over -8, which is the same as -5/8. You can take it from the bottom, move it to the front. And we're dividing that by 1 3/7. So this is ultimately going to be a negative value divided by a positive value, which means we're going to have a negative answer, because negative divided by a positive is a negative. Then you're going to change your mixed number into a top-heavy fraction. So 1 times 7 plus 3. We got 1 times 7 is 7 plus 3 is going to be 10. So this is going to be the same as 10 sevenths. So we have 5/8 divided by 10 sevenths. We can ignore the signs because we know the answer is going to be a negative answer. And now we can do KFC, key flip change. Keep the one on the left. So 5/8 stays 5/8. We're going to flip the one on the right to its reciprocal. So flip it top to bottom, 7/10 instead of 10 sevenths. And we're going to change the division to its inverse operation, multiplication. Once we've done that, we can look to cancel across the multiplication anything that's a common factor on top and bottom. I'm noticing that when I look at this, I'm seeing that 5 and 10 have a common factor of 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then you're just going to multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 1 times 7 is 7, and 8 times 2 is 16. So ultimately, this is going to be a negative answer. It's going to be negative 7/16. Okay? And so we're going to put that over here, negative space 7/16, and there's your answer. Okay? I'll do one more here, and that's going to be a nice simple one, I think, basically, same as before. So let's go through and let's clear Canvas. Let's go through it step by step. So you have negative 1 and 3/5, and you are dividing that by 5 over negative 6. Now, ultimately, that 5 over negative 6 is the same as negative 5/6. So this is really a negative divided by a negative, and so we have a positive answer. Put a positive in a box, resolve your sign. Now we can ignore the signs completely. You have 1 times 5 plus 3 to change our mixed number into a proper fraction or top of a fraction. That's 5 plus 3, which is 8. So that's the same as 8/5 divided by 5/6 if we ignore our signs. We know the answer is positive. Now we can go through and change our division to multiplication using the KFC algorithm, keep flip change. So we're going to keep the one on the left the same, so 8/5 stays 8/5. We're going to flip the one on the right to its reciprocal, flip it top to bottom, and what you're going to get there is not 5/6, but 6/5. And we're going to change our division into its inverse operation, multiplication. So ultimately what we're saying here is that anytime you have 8/5 divided by 5/6, that is exactly the same as 8/5 times 6/5. And we can now look to cancel anything from top and bottom. That's a common factor. I see that we've got an 8 and a 6 on top. We've got a 5 and a 5 on bottom. So there's no common factors in the top and bottom. Because remember, you can't cancel 2 from bottom. You got to cancel 1 from top, 1 from bottom. Because you want to divide top and bottom by the same value, because then you're divided by 1. It doesn't change the result, right? Okay, so in this case, just multiply across the top. You get 8 times 6, which is 48. Multiply across the bottom, 5 times 5, which is 25. How many times does 25 go into 48? 1 time. That's 25. How many extra? 23. So it's going to be 1 in 23 25ths, and it's going to be a positive answer. So it's positive 1 in 23 25ths. Let's put it into the computer. So positive 1 space 23/25. And that's how you do it. Okay? See you guys.